Good afternoon, people, or good morning, or good evening. It's about to start in 15 minutes, and as per traditional, we're covering this live as a watch along, which we're going to follow the unfolding question from the journalist: what is going on with Ten Hag's team? Who is fit to play? Is LICHA available to start? We've seen reports also that Marcus Rashford is back in training. How will he line up? Will we stop Arsenal winning the league, or will we get steamrolled? Will we roll over and get our bellies tickled on Old Trafford? I don't know. I had a little bit preview yesterday with an Arsenal fan. If you missed that stream, Alex Young, and he felt a little bit nervous because he said Arsenal never do well against Manchester United at Old Trafford. But let me know your thoughts and feelings. Big up for all of you that's tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this video if you want to become a member. Also, for €1, you can click the join, become a member into this fantastic community. And speaking about community, I need to shout out everyone that's tuned in this afternoon. As per usual, we have Lucky Singh in the house that's tuning in early. Big up also to Stephanie Griffith, one of our moderators, M&M. Yes, I am waiting for Mark, M&M's Mick and Mark. So where is my peanut M&M? He's coming in. Apparently, he is on a train in Düsseldorf, running, scared, because he had a meeting with Jadon Sancho to convince him to leave for £45 million. Easy sell, I reckon. Easy sell. But the question is, will Dortmund take us for mugs in the summer window? We know they got money and they are making the Champions League final. So I do expect the journalists to ask questions about Jadon Sancho and how does Erik ten Hag feel about Jadon Sancho. As per usual, there will definitely be some Hollywood insider gash questions regarding, the player status and player power and Sancho and Rashford and stuff like that. But anyway, we are not here for that. We are here for footballing matters, and we are here to listen to a proper Ten Hag press conference. The Thomas Tuchel rumors, definitely somebody's going to sort of ask him the question, sort of inverted question, not directly asking him if your job is on the line. But I predict it's going to be one of those questions anyway. Big up Jamie Wayne. It's also in the house, one of our moderators, saying, if people are going to throw abuse at the manager in the chat, I'm not bothering joining with the toxic shit. Well, that's the reason. Everyone can have their opinions, Jamie. And, the strong thing you can do mentally is just to switch off, right? Everyone is entitled for opinions, even if you're Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out or whatever you feel. That's the beauty of this channel. We voice our opinions with the voice of reasoning. Jali Malmin is here to start. Somebody who just gotten back to training could be a disaster. I think you are referring to Lisandro Martinez. We need this guy at the cup finale. Let him train until then. That's a good point, Yali. But you got to think about it. He hasn't, he doesn't have any match fitness, right? So will he start? I don't think so. Will he be on the bench? Most likely. To start him would be a little bit of a disaster, but it's all down to medical department. Our famous medical department, how they declare him and how he feels like, if he could start, right? But there's no doubt in my mind that Ten Hag will throw him in, if he's fit to start, as a starter, because if you look at a centre-back pairing, it's been diabolical. Half-fit Johnny Evans, Casemiro, that looks like he's checked out. And it's not Casemiro's fault. Casemiro is not a centre-back per se. He's more of a CDM. So he's been doing a okay job covering. And so big up for Casemiro. But I think he's been thrown under the bus at the moment. What are you saying here, Jamie? 2 legends have come out to back him now. And I've spoken to people attacking Beckham and Neville for thick bastards who don't have a brain in the fan base. You know what? I'm not here to talk about in or out, but if you back him, and big up for the managers. You know what I mean? For the ex-legends. So good afternoon to you as well. Lucky seeing what you're saying here. Lisandro Martinez, Mason Mount, McTominay, Bruno Fernandes will run shirt at 90 minutes. Well, I don't know about Scott McTominay. If he's back, it was a twisted knee a little bit. So, I would sort of save him if we're going to look to sell him in the market, like in the summer. So you don't want to sort of risk the injury, because if he's injured, you can't sell him at the end of the day, right? Maguire, I don't know what's wrong with Maguire, but maybe he's also dodging the bullet not to be sold. But there's a lot of interesting facts that we're going to dive into later on this summer as well, like the ins and outs and what the overarching plan is. So you guys at the pub, like you sing, so big up for you. Uh, we are coming down to one of the season finales of Ten Hag's interviews, and it's been a little bit of a interesting season, like how he's developed his English skills since he's first started, and how he's now handling the press, and who's been allowed to ask the real questions. So for me, it's more about like can we get over the line over Arsenal, or do we allow Arsenal to, or do we allow City to win a 4p? At the end of the day, if City wins the 4p, it doesn't sit well. It doesn't. But if they win, nobody really noticed, right? Nobody really noticed if Haaland scores 50 goals. Nobody talks about it because of the small fan base and the 115 charges. So yeah, at the end of the day, like if City slips up this weekend against Fulham, and Arsenal beat us, the Arsenal have a genuine chance, because if both win the 2 games in a row right now, City will win with 1 point ahead. So this is how thin margins are, guys. This is what it is. And our season is pretty much we're playing for pride against Arsenal. You got to admit it. Like Arsenal is rolling up to Old Trafford. Arteta is playing for the title. And there's some Arsenal fans that once Arteta says out, like, if he doesn't win the title this season, which is absolutely mad, because if you ask me as a United fan, if we were finished second in the league, we say, well, a great result. We take that in a heartbeat, considering where we're sitting now, 8th in the league. But I see it very difficult realistically, like, that we will take 1 point at all for the remaining of the games. Looking at, we have Newcastle away as well, I think, or at home, not sure. But Newcastle is finding form. Arsenal is 100% in form as well. But Arsenal has more to play, and they will be under pressure. And you saw how Arsenal was playing in the Champions League when they actually were under pressure, and they caved in, they bottled it. What are you saying here? Ralph Ragnick and new ownership model communicate about attack to possession-based football. Yeah, I mean, there's a different ways of you can look at possession-based football. Like, Ralph Ragnick's style was more of a 4-2-2-2, like, gegenpress, box midfields. And there's certain ways you could set up for next season in terms of playing style. And this is why, Wilcox is there to identify the playing style and help out with the transfer window. Like, he's also there to assess who is out of the players can actually contribute to next season to play the new style of play, and based on that they could sort of go to the market. So the overall list is there, like who they want to recruit in, and the list of who they want to get out as well. I'm kind of writing an article that will be published later on tonight, so you will have a read with that in Stretty News as well. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, Arsenal is close to the title, 100% lucky. I agree with you. And Stephanie Griffith, what you say, you watched Equalizer, 3rd film last night. Very good film, 100%. Denzel Wood thought this celebrated football is out. Yeah. Yeah, imagine having Denzel Washington as the equalizer in the dressing room. Like, we wouldn't have anyone alive there, to be honest, Steph. Yeah, I did watch Dune 2 the other night, and it was an amazing movie. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Like, really, really epic, right? So I really enjoyed that. And I started watch a TV show called The Tourist, which is a fantastic TV show. It's about the guy that suffers an anemia, like he lost his memory, and he's somewhere in Australia, doesn't know who he is, and he's getting chased by a lot of killers, and everyone wants him. And it's a really mystery story, which is very, very action-packed in a way. But go and check it out, the Tourist as well. 5 likes currently, and 50 tuning in on this lunch break. I don't know where you are. It's apparently 3 o'clock UK time soon, and the presser is about to start. About 2 o'clock. No, actually, 2 o'clock soon UK time, and the press is about to start. And where is my Mark Nurse running late? By my trusted MMM partner. I'm just going to check where he is. Yeah, he is coming in now. There is proof of life. He's gunning out. He's running from the train. Poor bugger. Easy, Mark. Don't break a leg. We don't want to have another muscle strain injury. We need you fit for Sunday, to be honest. Today, football are like princesses pompadons. I read you like you sing. I totally agree. And the halftime Vegeta Sama. Hey, big up, man. I'm finally got to watch it live. Yeah, big up, Vegeta Sama. Yeah, good to see you as well, my friend. Good to see you in the stream. Finally get to watch it live. And we usually do this as a watch along. We cover this live and we react as a community. And yeah, personally, it's been a interesting couple of months with the different types of flavors of press conferences. We've seen the ban of Samuel Lockhurst, ban of Simon Stone, BBC. You know, is this Ineos putting a stamp to see don't talk shit about a club? And rightfully so. Yeah, they've been spreading misinformation, and you know, majority of the media is writing misinformation about Thomas Tuchel. It's basically Thomas Tuchel that wants to join United, but it's not United that wants him. So it's like you're on Tinder and Tuchel swiped left as a match, but United hasn't responded back to swipe left back, if you know what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, I'm just tired of this in out and the manager. So I think more sensible thing is going in the summer where there's more managers available. And my favorite manager for next year that will be available is no other than Xavi Alonso from Bayern Leverkusen. He will do madness. And speaking about madness, coming in here, he didn't pull a hamstring. He ran from the train. He's now here in the studio. We see Mark Nurse.
Big up, everybody. Big up,
Peanut
Mick.
Eminem. How you doing, mate?
Good. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone in the chat is good. I know there's a bit of stress about the season, but let's hear what the manager has to say, and then we could react to that and see where it gets us, because you know what? It's already been a tough one. Let's try to be a little bit neutral.
Yeah. We got to have a little bit of a fun, and Alex, big up to you. Now it's time to know what is ahead of you. Yeah, I guess the truth will be out there sooner or later. David is here as well. Big up, David. Ten Hag is also GD. What's GD? No, good enough. No, nowhere near. And also, a lot of our players are crap. Also, so. And
some of
Eric
them happen to be from ETH signing as well.
Yeah. I just
big up David.
David, I'm a dyslexic, David, so don't trick my eyes like by doing those abbreviations.
All good.
TGIF.
Next time I'll read it to you, Mick.
Yeah, listen. What are you saying, Alex, as well? What you're saying here now, you're competing with Chelsea for Conference League, man. Dude, I don't want to even be in Conference League. So, yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, we can still end up in Europa League if we beat City, right? So, yeah, so mental ball game is here. Big up for you as well, my friend. And I see the press conference is about to start. So give us a little bit of shout out, Mark. We haven't seen you for a whole week. How you doing?
I'm chilling. Just been a little bit busy, got some mini jobs and stuff in between, some freelance work as well. So it's just been a little bit busy. Man. Couldn't keep up with the consistent streams this week. I hope the guys aren't too upset with me, but I'll be back on schedule tomorrow morning with one stream and then back again next week. I mean, on Sunday and Monday morning shows as usual again,
We're about to roll out the press conference. Yeah, here we go.
Hi. The main question I guess start off with is, will you have any players? They did train tomorrow. Of this morning, I was Bruno was on the pitch.
Bruno is fit.
Scott McTominay.
Is fit
on the pitch. So there are some players returning, but also I have to report that unfortunately yesterday Mason Mount fell out.
Fuck off.
So he will not be available for Sunday.
Mason Mount off. What's going on?
Obviously, it's only 15 days to the cup final now. Are there any players that are definitely not going to feature again this season?
Not in this moment, definitely. But we have some doubts. And some players they're really fighting to be available, and that is so amazing. And they all try. They are all desperate to play. Yesterday, LICHA came to me. He wanted to play tomorrow, on Sunday against Arsenal, but he's not ready yet. He needs a little bit more time to go through the process. But he is so desperate, and there are more. Rafa Varane, Victor Lindelof, Luke Shaw had a setback in his process as well. But there's still a hope, and he will fight to be available for the final.
Martinez is keen to play in the cup final, but he's had 3 injuries this season. He's back on the grass. What's his situation?
I just tried to explain. He is desperate to play. He misses so much. The team missed him, and he wants to play. But as you say, he had 3 injuries across the season, and he's almost there. So injury free. So he's in the end of the healing process, and now he has to get back into team training, into matches.
Is there a situation where you're almost on the verge of gambling with players' fitnesses, or would you never do that?
I will never do a gamble with the player, never. It's about them, about their futures, because that's the most important, about their careers. I have to take responsibility for it. And of course, the club, that's the most important. But the safety from the player, the health of the player, I think that is also always a higher level.
And Rashford, where's he at the moment?
Rashford, of course, he trained this morning as well. And we have to see how he recovered from this. But I think it looks quite good. And I hope he can tomorrow make the next training and then see if he's available for Sunday.
Is it important to get the result, the performance right on Sunday, or are you already starting to think about that cup final?
Both, but we always go in a game to win and not preparing for next game. And of course it is in my back head. But we want to put out a team what is competitive for Sunday, a team what is eager to win, and we choose the best team for Sunday to win that game.
Eric, of course, you want to win the next game, as you say. At what point, though, do you start looking at the bigger picture and think about prioritizing games?
You do always. So I don't take big risks with players now to win on Sunday, and with the risk they drop out again.
Yeah, true that.
But I think it's not so different in a normal situation if you didn't have that cup final.
And looking ahead to Sunday, Arsenal, how do you prepare for them? What do you expect?
We know all. It's one of the best teams, or probably the best team. You can discuss about this. Is City the best team, or is Arsenal at this moment the best team? Very ball secure. So very good structures. We have to play to absolutely our maximum levels to get a result in. But
Rashford back. Is Rashford back?
What do you say to the fans, Eric, who
Simon Stone is
look
back
at this game and think after Monday we've got absolutely no chance?
So you see the fans on Monday, they were our example. That is what I told the players. They backed us, and I think they see how we struggle. They see our problems we have. So they have a very good understanding about all the injuries we have, that we struggle, but they keep backing the team. So I'm very pleased with them.
Just about Mason Mount, I mean, it almost encapsulates your season in a way, that he came, big expectations, and he can never play again.
It's very unfortunately, very unlucky. And as you see, it's a symbol, but we have so many injuries, and it's difficult for all of us, for the whole club, but in particular the fans. And that's why they show unity. And when things are going bad and you stick together, we will come out. And still we have to play for something really high. That's the FA Cup final, of course. And for the rest, we will keep fighting in every game to get us also over the ranking into Europe.
Just on a relatable note with Mount,
Samuel Lucas is back.
Declan Rice, because he was available for transfer in the summer, given his impact at Arsenal.
He's a very good player. I would absolutely have fitted here, but not that I'm not happy with Mason. This is what you're suggesting. I'm very happy with Mason, and he's also a very robust player. You see it in his profile. He played, I think, the last 4 seasons. So this is the 5th. Then the last 4 seasons only had a a small issue in the end of his Chelsea career. Before that, he played almost all the games 3 seasons after each other with 3 days turnaround. He always played. And so I think it's really bad luck what happened. And he's a very good player. And we really missed him across the season, I think, because he would have absolutely would have a contribution to our levels.
James.
Harry, your fellow Dutchman, Louis van Gaal, had a difficult second season in charge at United in the Premier League in Europe, but then went on to win the FA Cup, but to his great disappointment.
Here comes the second question.
Have you got any concern that the club, that even if you go on to win at Wembley, that the club might end up making a similar decision to what they did over Louis?
No, I think they have common sense. And they see when you have 32 different backlines, when you have 8 centre backs, you use 8 centre backs. If they see we use 13 partnerships in centre halves, when they see when we don't have a left fullback, when we have so many injuries, they know that will have a negative impact on the results. And still, we are fighting, and it's huge, FA Cup final. So we are very happy to be there. And can still be a highlight for this season. And of course, we are not happy, but we know the reasons why we are underperforming in the ranking now. And that's causes the injuries. And I'm a realistic person. And I see this when I make this analysis. And no team will perform when you have so many injuries in key areas.
Last question in this section, Rob.
Hi, Eric. I think most fans would probably accept the problems you've had to face with the injuries, and you say that you've had so productive conversations with the owners behind the scenes. But do you not think it would be of value for the owners to say, beyond any doubt, that you're going to be manager here at the start of next season? Because that way, all the uncertainty just goes away. The fans stop speculating. The players are sure of what's happening. Do you not think that would help if the owners came out and said?
This question you have to make to the owners, not to me.
Yeah. It sounds like you would quite like them to do that.
But once again, you have to make this question, and it's your opinion, and you have to make this question to them and not to me.
They're trying another version to get answer.
Why you're in such an unfortunate position, because you have to sit here in front of us, and the owners aren't in front of us.
Yeah, but that's my job, and I take responsibility for that to speak with you, and that's why I'm the manager, and to give the answers. And I don't care if they do or they don't. I'm working on improving my team and to develop my team, and that's my job here.
You can tune into Matchday Live from 2 o'clock on Sunday.
What a thriller! The last one was a very attacking question, to be honest, Mark. And the reporter got agitated. It's like, why are you not answering? You're speaking in front of us right here, right now. You did the right thing. So you have to ask the owners. Shut it down quickly. There was the second time they had a pop, but this was a smartly constructed question to put him right on the spot, to be honest, right? The first one, I think, was regarding, Louis van Gaal won a FA Cup and he got sacked after. It's like, are you afraid that you're going to get sacked after this as well? And, he just looks like he doesn't give a shit, because he said, I don't care. I don't care. My job is, yeah, bro. What do you reckon?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where, he's saying it from the perspective, listen, it sounds like they already had enough meetings where he explained his version of what happened this season. They have their analysis. They probably spoke with the players, and they already probably came to some consensus. I don't think these people that came in are inefficient in their task. If you look at what Omar Barada has done, look at what Jason Wilcox has done, and we all know Dan Ashworth is probably doing what he has to do behind the scenes if he could, with whatever means he can. So it's one of those things where maybe they're saying, you know what, there's a lot too many or whatever, or they gave him some kind of confidence or something, or maybe they told him something else. But whatever it is, it's already decided. So he's just decided. Yeah, so he's just doing what he has to do. Make sure he gets the team prepared, to try and finish in the top 6 if possible.
We're talking about a professional club, a professional organization. So everything has been discussed behind the closed doors and decided, right? So because you need to go in the market, you need to plan, you need to prepare for the tour, the preseason, everything has been decided, I think. So
100%.
But 100%. I mean, I like the he said, I don't care. Like, I don't care about the noise. Ask Ineos, like,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, he's right, because he's there to do a job. It shouldn't, that should not be affecting what he is doing, because then, therefore, if he's thinking about it or if it's affecting it, then there's problems to be had there, because in one or two things could be happening in that situation. Maybe, he might be like, what, wherever the team finish, I'm not going to bother. But that's not the case. You could see that this guy still cares about what is happening, cares about the team. He's, you could tell by the way he's reacts on the sidelines, when things happen, and he's frustrated more than most of us, So
yeah. Listen, one thing that baffles me, I think they out of the sim bin, the orange or yellow, orange or blue card, or whatever you call it, it's expired. So we heard questions from Samuel Lockhurst, we heard questions from Simon Stone. They're back in the fold, and Claire is saying here they want him out 100%. So, you can hear the type of questions, but never did they ask about Jadon Sancho, which was surprisingly, they didn't ask about Sancho. So if we summarize the overall,
Rashford, right?
They didn't even ask about Rashford. Was he fit or not fit? Nothing about Rashford at all. But if I do summarize the team news, we spoke about LICHA. He's so desperate to play. He wants to play, but he doesn't look like the manager will pick him to start. He will probably pick him on the bench. Also, the setback regarding Luke Shaw, he's also coming back. But predominantly the tone of this press conference was more about we parked this season. We are just now focusing on the FA Cup. That was kind of the tone that I felt like, Another setback is Mason Breadstick Mount injured again, and you might wonder what the hell is going on with Mason Mount. Like, he just got back from injury and he plays and features. He's out again. What the hell is going on with Mason?
Oh, they asked about Marcus. My bad. I didn't even hear that question, to be fair, guys. My bad.
Did they ask about Marcus?
Yeah, they asked him and he said he trained. So
he trained.
Yeah.
Who else did train? Bruno Fernandes trained.
Bruno trained. Scott McTominay trained.
Rashford trained.
Yeah, I didn't hear that part, so my bad. That's why I asked.
Yeah. Mason Mount is out, which is a shocker. They didn't ask anything about the centre-back positions, nothing. So we are a little bit left in limbo. But if we go, if we go and summarize in general, Mark, of course, he said about some setbacks, like,
Mason Mount.
Yeah, I mean, if we focus on LICHA, right? LICHA, we desperately miss the communicator on the pitch, the warrior on the pitch, and he's desperate to get back. But it feels like he's like, I don't want to risk the player. Like, I don't want to, he's getting more sensible. No, I don't risk players. It's all about the player welfare and stuff like that. And, so I think he's taking a precautional approach now. Like, he's been fooled once bitten, twice shy, and like by the medical department, they declared them fit. So do you agree that we should, just focus on the FA Cup and just rest them, or do they need a little bit of playing time?
Well, I mean, I feel what he means by that is they're not gonna, like, maybe he's available and he could be available for selection in this game, but he'll probably give him another week and wait for the next game, maybe, to give him some minutes, because we have the game midweek as well against Newcastle, and then the following weekend we have a game for the last game of the season. So maybe on the last game is when he might give some of those guys some minutes, but he will try to do what he has with those who came back, who are training, like Scott, maybe Bruno, even Rashford might get in. So I think that's the better thing to do, try to play those players who are more readily fit than the ones who are coming back. But at the same time,
I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, match fitness plays a big part as well. So yeah, if he will definitely be on the bench, LICHA, like, and if he gets some minutes in the second half, that's good. Like, gets a couple of minutes there as well. But yeah, so I get the point of resting, but you need to get a little bit of a match fitness into the play before the cup as well, because you're just going to put an unfit player or non-fit match player into the FA Cup. It's going to be a disaster.
That's why I said he probably might get minutes midweek and in the weekend on Saturday. So those might be the 2 games where those players might get minutes. Maybe this weekend might be too soon.
Can you imagine LICHA had 3 injuries this season, but he's desperate to get fit? It's been, and he spoke about the setback of the season, 64 different injuries, and he keeps coming back to that. But guys, you got to think, because that absolutely derail your whole fucking squad and how you can play, right? The sad state of affairs is when we looked at the Crystal Palace game, and when you looked at the bench, we had nobody, right? The only senior player we had there was Amrabat, right? The rest were youngsters. You had Tom Heaton and Bayandir on the bench as well as goalkeepers. So we are like we are a very depleted thin squad. So does it really matter for him, for Arsenal, to have a point? Or it looked like this interview, he was more focused on the FA Cup.
Well, I mean, for me, he looked like he's going to try to get the best result he can in the league, because he did mention that he would like to get to a Europa space. So I think he's going to do his best with what he has available. I think he wants to win the FA Cup because that's also a backup. But if you want to guarantee trying to prioritize winning the FA Cup, then you still will have to get players fit and ready. So you still have to do a similar job either way, because you still have to get the ones in form, the ones not fit with some minutes. So
Mark and the panel, everyone is tuning in. I want to hear from you as well. Does it seem like we have forfeited the season and just focusing on the FA Cup? Because we can't reach, top 5 is gone, top 4 is gone. We can't reach that, can we?
I mean, we don't need to really get to top five. We could get 6th and still probably get into Europa League, because at the end of the day, if Man City wins the FA Cup, then we get Europa League. So it goes down. Yeah, because 5th place is guaranteed Europa League. 6th place would be Man City, would be in the top 4, so they would be playing in UCL. They can't play in both Europa League and the UCL.
Oh, so that means that it goes automatically down to the 6th, so we can
still scrape something. It's possible. You never know. So it's one of those things where we have to try to see if we could get the 9 points.
I didn't know that.
Get 7. It's almost likely that Spurs are going to lose again to Man City. So it's possible. You never know. You know what I mean? So Chelsea's going to have a few tough games. They could still lose. You never know. The season could be over in terms of really competing and getting top 4 UCL, where is the basic standard for Manchester United, for our club, But we're in a rebuild, so it's a bit tough.
If you look at it, we are only 2 points away from 6th to Newcastle. Sorry about this one. This is advertising. So yeah, we're currently sitting on 54 points, equally to Chelsea, but Chelsea has a better goal difference. Newcastle on 56. So yeah, you can still play for a 6th, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just
and then
need to
win. Newcastle at the very end, and Spurs are slipping as well. So basically, we are 5th. We are 6 points away from
5th.
5th. So mathematically, you can still make 5th if you win everything.
I mean, if you get 7 points, a draw and 2 wins, you get to 61 points. If Spurs don't get any points for the rest of the season, you pip Spurs. You know what I mean?
So we do actually have something to play for other than pride on Sunday.
100%.
Cool. Yeah, another thing what I picked up, that he said I would never compromise players, but he's been compromising players before. Has it been more of the misinformation from the medical staff?
Well, I mean, I would certainly think it's misinformation from the medical staff, or maybe an oversight on their behalf, because if the manager is told that, listen, if the manager is told that these players are available by the medical staff, that's the director of medical, that's his job, to clear players fit and available for play. So if he has questions about the player fitness as the head of medical, he's not supposed to recommend them to the coach. So if the coach get recommended players, these players are available for selection, again, they are fit, the coach is obviously going to try to play them. You know, obviously they will speak to the players, and if the players say, well, look, you know, yes, I am fit, I feel good. You know, some players, you never know. Some players might try to say, well, listen, I'm ready, because they so want to be back for the team. So.
Okay, so for now I'm thinking, like, you know, we shouldn't do anyone a favor. Like, you know, we should be united. We should just play for our points and our positioning, right? So, you know, there was a question, how do you prepare for Arsenal? And he said, you know, Arsenal is the best team, ball secure and very good structure. So what I wanted to see is to shock Arteta, to not, you know, Arteta knows pretty much the way we line up, but do something different, right? Play 3 in the back, 5 in the back, whatever. You know what I mean? So how do you think tactically, because he didn't really answer the question, but how do you think tactically he will do? Do you think he will go pragmatic, or do you think he will do similar what he did against Klopp at the FA Cup semi-final?
Yeah, I feel like he's going to do some different things. I mean, if you look back to the game this season where we played at the Emirates, we had a kind of a 4-4-2 slightly kind of shifted formation in a way, which altered into a 4-3-3 during the course of the game. And for the most part, we should have won that game. We were leading 2-1 until they revoked the goal based on a crooked line or whatever, if it was, you know, whatever. But we ended up losing the game. And I would say that that was one of our best performances this season, in my honest opinion. But, you know, it goes to show that there's some things that he's doing tactically that he can get done. And it showed again against Liverpool, because remember, we played Liverpool at Anfield. We came away with a 0-0 draw. Then we took Liverpool. We almost won the game, if not for the penalty that they got on the dying moment. So
yeah, I hear you. But another thing is, I did a preview with Alex yesterday from Arsenal, and you know, he said something like, you know, they're a little bit scared because he said we never do well at Old Trafford, right? So, and Arsenal has so much to play for, so we are the underdogs here. So I think that, you know, fans will play a big part of Sunday's game as well. The away match-going fans at Crystal Palace was there cheering on, clapping on, and singing songs to the very end. So, you know, the crowd needs to be behind this team, and you know, but it's all down to the players as well. Do they rock up? Or do they have the right fighting spirit mentality, right? Or have they checked out? We will find out, man. We will find out.
I would
drop at least they have something to play for this season, according to this question. What is left to play for?
I mean, that's what the manager said when he said, you know, we have everything to play for: league position, the FA Cup final. We must get to Europe next season. And I'm pretty sure he's referring to Europa League and not the Conference. So it's one of those things where, you know, you have to do what you have to do. These guys have to come together, whoever is left that available.
So behind the scenes, it must have been spoken to, like, you know, Jason Wilcox and the rest to say, like, guys, if we can finish off strong, we have a chance to come to the 5th spot, like, you know, or 6th, and 6 might give us a, you know, Europa League, as what you said. Even if we lose the FA Cup final, if we finish 6th, that will give us the FA and the Europa League anyway. So yes, he's got a point there. So that's what I was thinking. Maybe he's more focusing on finishing strong at the FA Cup final, because they will salvage the season with the silverware, right? You know, and you know, if we win FA Cup, you know, I'll be happy, to be honest, right? Because that is a little bit of a consolation of a poor, dire season, and at least we can have something to, you know, put in the trophy cabinet, other than Harry Kane's empty trophy cabinet.
I mean, you could have predicted that, you know. Like I told them since before that game on Papi Channel, I was like, bro, Bayern, they might win the first leg, but the second leg, bye-bye. And it's funny, you know, when I say it like that, because against Arsenal I said football heritage. But when it comes to footballing heritage, Real Madrid have 16 or 17.
Yeah. He wanted to sign Harry Kane. Like, you know, he said it openly in the overlap with Gary Neville, like, you know, but he was denied by the club. And same with Declan Rice. Saying Declan Rice was also his first choice. And look what Declan Rice is doing, cooking, right? So there was a question, would you have taken Declan Rice before Mason Mount? And he was implying that Declan is a good player, but are you implying that I'm not happy with Mason? And that it's not true. He's a very good player. He's a very good player. He was a very good player, but I don't know what's going on with his fitness, right? So, shit. I mean, the whole season, Mason Mount has been, I don't know what type of injuries it is. Is it ankle? Is it hamstring? Is it calf? Nobody really knows.
No, I don't even know. I'll try to
too much
get some
TikTok
information.
dancing, or I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. But like for me, I think for what it was and what they scouted of Mason, it would have been a great signing if he could have delivered those things this season. He probably would have done much better if he was more available consistently. But for what he has done this season, I feel like maybe, the manager and all could be regretting the signing in a way and hoping that next season he could come and, do something really amazing. I would say
regretting the signing of Anthony Dos Santos. That is heavily on his head.
I mean,
Anthony has registered 1 goal this season
in the Premier League. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I feel like if you take all things considered about what happened to his season and how it was derailed mentally, just like we took into account what happened with Marcus Rashford with the abuse and with Jadon Sancho last season, you got to give the guy a break in a sense and extent, because you can't be slaughtering these players online week in, week out.
ABS breaks or
no, just give him a break. He's being slaughtered by every single channel on YouTube and all over the Twitter space every day, every
we've been
night.
Quite lenient here on this channel. We've been quite lenient, keep balance.
I mean, to an extent, yeah. So, but it's like he still gets the most heavy criticism of all the players in the squad.
Speaking about that, the vultures are still there, angling different questions. And then here was the one. Who was the one that asked this question? Jesus, was it Samuel Locker? Simon Stone has. Oh God, he gets back in, and are you afraid to get sacked by like Louis van Gaal, who won the FA Cup? And what did he say? He responded back, nope. You have to take in consideration that we have 64 different combination of injuries, our backline, and everything. And reality, that is absolutely true, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me any other Premier League club other than Newcastle that had the same similar misfortune. And all we can wish for is that we get rid of these injury-prone players, or they get a proper break in the season. But you also got to take in consideration, according to my opinion, it's also Premier League's fault, right? By increasing extra minutes in the adding on 10 or 9 minutes, and
100%. That was
too many games, right? You know what I mean? So football has become all about money more than player welfare, I think.
100%. I think those extra minutes did a lot of damage to a lot of players and a lot of clubs this season, not just our own. At the same time, I feel like the Premier League needs to also just moderate a little bit back, because VR was atrocious as well.
And by the way, speaking of extra tournaments, did you see that FIFA wanted to launch their own club World Championships tournament, right? That was voted down because of player security, because they're playing almost like too many games already. Did you see that yesterday? So they want to. FIFA wanted to create their own thing, which is interesting. Like Club World Cup, right? But still, like, where would you squeeze in that? Like, Champions League is going to be more games, more clubs. It's all about TV money, revenues.
I think.
Plus we have. Listen, it's not going to get better in terms of healing of injuries, because you have the Euros as well this summer. So where is this fucking place going to get a break?
It also have Copa America as well for like guys like Lisandro and these guys. But at the same time, I feel like maybe after the trial this season with the new Champions League, I think it's going to be a lot of games, right? So I feel maybe they might go back to the cup, the previous format, and if they do that, then it might open up. But you never know. The PL might also reconsider the extra minutes that they've been added on to games, which might decrease again, because then if they could be found being partly at fault for the extra injuries. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. And what's new coming in the season is the semi-automated offside and VAR, like they use in the Champions League, which is really good. But they really need to oversee, like, the handballing ruling and what else, like, inconsistency of penalties. Offside will sort itself out with the semi-automatic, but it's been far too many dodgy penalty decision and handball decision that they need to look at. And my solution is, what my solution is? It's very simple. It is very, very simple, Mark. The only player that can touch the ball inside the 6-yard box is the goalkeeper, So I would say that if a ball touches a hand on a player inside a 6-yard box, it's an automatic penalty. End of discussion. Automatic. Don't have to be here, 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 here. It's a handball.
Yeah,
right.
Just handball.
That's simple rule.
Done. Simple.
Done. So
And
we
that-
don't have to have. So it's clear and obvious. Like we don't have to have this discussion. Oh no, the arm was here, the arm was here, the arm was there. You know what? You
the
hit your
only
hand.
one, Mick,
Okay,
the
if you
only
hit
one-
you up here, it's
yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
But anything
where your
below
sleeves,
here,
where the sleeve stop. Yeah, from your elbow down is handball.
Yeah.
Elbow down, handball. And the one thing I would add is would keep as the proximity rule. If you're less than 2 feet away, there's no way you could move your hand if somebody kicked the ball in that situation. But it have to be like a minimal increment. You know what I mean? So not like if it's like 4, 5, 10, 20 feet out, 10 yards away, and it hit your hand. No, if it hit your hand 10 yards away, like on a free kick, like Jack Grealish.
I mean, that would just eliminate time wasting, and they would eliminate debates, and just, I mean,
100%.
Can we just submit this proposal? I think it's brilliant, right?
That's what you
I
had to
won't,
do,
I won't
Mick.
even take copyright claiming on it. It's just like, simple. It's logical, right? So, what is the VR room saying about this one? Are you agreeing that handball inside the 6-yard box, if it touches a player's hand, should be an automatic handball, no matter what, below the sleeve? Let me know in the comments section as well if you're looking in retrospective. I think it's a brilliant idea. Mark, do you see what the VR room is saying?
I think Evo doesn't like the idea. Actually, he says players might kick the ball to people, or his Manu Tato.
Yeah, but okay. If the ball hits your foot first and touches your arm later, that is exempt, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right?
it's exempt. All we're changing is the ruling that says hand close to the body. If intent of the hand, it has no intent. Once it hits your hand from your elbow down, so once you're further away from than 2 or 3 yards.
So Evo is saying here there might be deliberately, instead of targeting the open goal, they're targeting the player's hand instead to get a penalty. Interesting.
I mean, it have ball to hand rule already, bro. So you can't, they could, they should be able, with the new ball that gonna have the chip, they could check trajectory on those balls now. Because in cricket, they have a ball trajectory with a laser. So you can see where every single ball bounce and it go on the pitch.
What if we implement a chip on the ball that could tell you if it was a handball or not?
Well, I mean,
the reading of that, right?
All you need to know is all you need to have is a trajectory.
Yeah, soon they're going to start selling you the VR glasses where you can actually pick to be the football.
Exactly.
You see it from the football's perspective, Jesus, you would get dizzy and puke your guts out. Any more suggestions, how can we improve? Because I don't think VR has done such an improvement. 1%.
I've already made fix that go and drastically improve VR immediately. Get the team from AFCON, get them to the Premier League.
What I want to see is a mic'd up VR room so we can actually hear transparency what they're discussing, right? So otherwise you're constantly going to get this VR is corrupted. Get rid of that and just let us hear, right?
True.
Mic it up.
Nah, I mean, maybe not the on-field referee, but maybe the VRs when VR is announced, maybe the mics could go on and they could hear them.
Or you can also have like they have in tennis, in the ATP tours where you can challenge. You have 3 challenges, right? You can challenge the decision.
I think the AFCON refs and the AFCON who was doing it with VR, they had it perfect, bro. It wasn't no time. It was like literally 30 seconds to a minute. If it was taking longer than a minute, then it was no decision. Keep the on-field decision immediately. Continue the game.
Listen, Evo, we consider 81 goals. It's a shocker, but if you look at last season, mate, we were we won the Golden Glove, and the team that conceded lesser goals. And you can marry things together and you can understand the centre-back pairings and everything. You got to take that in consideration. I certainly do. And but it's not acceptable. 81 goals and less goals scored. So it's been we know what the problem is, but yeah, next season can be a different crop. So we see, right? It's like it's like you're having a farm and you planted some seeds and it didn't rain, so just all the crop dried out, and so we have no crops this season. And
it's been tough.
Seasons are different. Like you get bad seasons and good seasons. Finally, what he said as well regarding another second question, and that was the last one that they finished on. And he said, when he said, "Is there any certainty for your position next season? Will your position be there at the club?" And this is where I said you have to ask the owners, and this is where they get very vultures and the knives are. Well, you're sitting here. Answer me. I'm privileged. Answer me. And it's like, come on, mate.
No, 100%. I mean,
he's not going to impede himself to say anything.
True, and it don't make sense. For me, it's an unintelligible question. Like, as a journalist, you should be asking more questions and getting more information, not asking questions that you're trying to imply to get an answer that you're looking for.
But you know what they do? They gang up and they have the same question, but they formulate it in a different angle. Smart, you know what I mean? But I was just so surprised to see that the one's been banned has been come out from the sim bin and do it again. So
you never know, they might get banned again. They're starting to remind me of the Fergie times. Fergie used to be banning these journalists and kicking them out drastically, radically.
Regarding Tuchel, it's been debunked as well. It's more Tuchel's agents putting up fillers to Plettenberg in Sky Sports Deutschland, and you know how it goes, because he's like, he's been sacked, he wants a new job, right? And who happens to be available, like, there's a couple of Premier League clubs looking for a manager, and he's putting his hand up. He missed out the Liverpool chance. They didn't want him for some reason. They took why didn't they want him if they assessed him? German
one of these stories that they keep in quiet in Germany about his time at Dortmund, which is very similar to his end, to the end of days at this season at Bayern Munich, is he's always be falling out with the structure at the club, with the higher ups. It's always be a situation where he's trying to either circumvent them or supersede them in some instances. So he's had issues with this.
I watched the German press conference after the Champions League when he was grilled, and he was absolutely like a crybaby. Agitated. I don't know. For me, like, you look at if it's a cultural fit, like, and one thing that I know what they're looking for is team players, like somebody that will fit in the culture, that can work together in a team. And he fell out from Borussia Dortmund, he fell out from PSG, he fell out from Chelsea. Yeah, big up, you won some trophy, right? Good. But at the end of the day, your personality is going to be assessed as well. So is he an upgrade just because he won one trophy and, like, the Champions League with Chelsea? Perhaps. But you got to also look at that he bottled it. And, they were 1-0 up. And what did he do? A fatal mistake, against Real Madrid that always finds a way. Subs out Kane and Musiala and totally fucks it up, right? So... And from there on, within 4 minutes, Real Madrid just scored 2 quick goals. And was that the 2-2 goal? Was it a robbery, or do you think that they did the right thing?
I think in a situation, if it's too close to call, you go with the online with the.
Yeah, but either way, if they were giving it, I mean, they had no response to what Don Carlo did, right? They took in a Choupo-Moting that we were linked in the summer, 36-year-old, and who else? Like, Müller,
I mean, with that regards, like with some teams, they always have that mentality, and especially when you've been doing it for years and years and years, man. Real Madrid is one of those teams you can count them out to the end of the game.
Interesting enough, though, just Jamie, I see Mick remind the fan base how close Fergie came to get binned. Yeah, we know the story, but interesting enough, like, when I had Alex on yesterday for the Arsenal preview, and he basically said from an outsider looking in, like, and he said, like, you're in the similar situation what we were with Arteta as well, like, but third season everything changed, right? Because he finally got rid of the place that he didn't want, and he started to play a different style of football. And we all got shocked, actually, like, what the hell's going on with Arsenal? Like, the first 20 minutes they went like for the kill, right? So and that's been evolving. So You know,
And
I'm not saying like, you know, you could acknowledge there's been no structure, leadership above, and you know, he's just trying to sort of, I don't know. So I'm protecting him a little bit on that one, but I cannot swallow the in-game management. And the way I see the solution being solved is now he's got accountability, because he will have somebody he reports in, which is the sporting director and the technical director. They will assess him and say, Eric, you cannot do this. You need to rotate. You know, you need to do better, because now he hasn't had anyone, because Murta doesn't understand, like, you know, so he's been led without any guidance.
Also, I mean, at the same time, you know, we talk about rotation of players, and there's always going to be 6 or 7 players in any squad. You could name any squad in the Premier League that will start every single game if once they fit. That's just how it is, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times he couldn't rotate some players to bring them in because of the results. You know, if we down goals, it's not a good situation sometimes to bring in players unless you have a player, you know, going to come off the bench to grab a goal to bring you back. You know, it's tough.
Yeah.
So
Big up Evo. He's actually an ex-referee as well, so he speaks here. The ref blow too early offsides. You're supposed to let play out, but when they blow the whistle, you know, when they blow the whistle, they can't even go to VAR. This is the silly rule. He blew his as soon as Muller headed it, so can't go to VAR. Yeah, true.
That happened to us this season, right? As well. Too.
Match fixing, in your opinion? We know how UEFA and FIFA can be, right? So,
I mean, the match fix a few penalties against us. I don't know why people complaining for Bayern Munich. You know, they kicked down Palestrini box and Højlund. No penalty for United.
Right.
Forget that.
Anyway, that has been the manager's presser. We are reacting to it. How we will line up, nobody really knows. Who will start, nobody really knows. Looks like Lisandro Martinez is fighting to get back. He wants to play, but the manager is protecting him. Scott McTominay is back training. Rashford is back training. But what I'm worried about is the centre-back situation. So nothing mentioned regarding that. Willy Kwambala, what's going on there? Harry Maguire.
Nick, 1 second. I just need to...
Yeah, no worries. And also Johnny Evans probably is available. So I'm more keen to understand what are we going to do against Arsenal. We cannot play the same lineup. We definitely have to either park the bus, like, you know, 5 in the back, but I don't want to do that either and hit them on the counter. Yeah, we know that Arsenal, they play a certain style and they will kill us in the midfield with Declan Rice, Odegaard. Oh my God, they have so many good players now, and Saka on the left as well. Martinelli has been so-so, but Trossard has been a good signing for them as well. Although they've been scoring the most goals in the Premier League with other strikers. So, man, at the end of the day, I'm always optimist, but I don't feel good regarding this game. So I think we're going to lose with a 2-1. But, yeah, I mean, if a 2-2 draw, perhaps, or maybe we get a late 3-2 or whatever, you know. At the end of the day, I just want to see a fight. I just want to see the players turn up to play for the pride, and if there's a chance to reach 5th, just go for it, man. Like, you know, let us know what you think at the end of the day. So we are reaching to the 1 hour mark, and we are, you know, had a fantastic interview, Ten Hag interview. The Simon Stones were back. The Lockhurst was back asking the same questions, and you can clearly tell that they still want him gone. And some of you in the chat also thinks that, you know, he should be gone. Me, on a personal stance, I will never say out or in, because that's my job, to be sort of neutral. Whatever you think, it's your opinion. Whatever you say, that's your opinion. But I don't have to take a stance, and I refuse to take a stance either. Because if you look at social media, it's so ridiculous that you have to take a stance. Either you're in or out, which doesn't really make sense to me. But let's see what happens, guys. It's been a fantastic stream. Mark was coming late. He came in with his, you know, fantastic positive opinions as per usual. And Ivo Bossi still calls him Baldy, and I understand he's pissed off and he's hurt. I know it hasn't been an easy season, like, you know. So Dark Crow is saying, let's help Arsenal win the league. I say, hell no, let's help nobody to win the league. You know, why are we dropping our standards here? Why should we just go for maximum points, you know, and finish off strong? You know, so I don't want to help anyone at this point. I changed my mind, right? But if the faith is all in I mean, Arsenal cannot win the league if City wins all the games. So City will finish 1 point. So they can only hope that, will Fulham beat them at home? Potentially.
Draw,
And
maybe.
with Spurs do a job as well against City? They can, right? It's all open in the air.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, it's just hopefully, I hope the results favor us, to be fair. And to be fair with Wan-Bissaka, no matter where he starts, he's probably going to do the same thing.
Yeah, but he's I agree. Mental ball game. He looks lost on the left hand side, and I think Diego Delor can do a better job on the left hand, or even on the left hand side, just playing Harayamas. He's dangerous there. So will we see that? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not excited like Dark Crow. I'm not excited about the game, but if you ask me on Saturday, listen, it's come to the point that you're coming to the very end. You're tired. You've been running a marathon, so you're not really excited about results anymore, are you, Mark? Like I feel that maybe FA Cup I'll be excited, but Arsenal Sunday, yeah, I will be more excited. But right now, not feeling positive. You, Mark?
I mean, I still feel like we still have that one record that Arsenal doesn't really win at Old Trafford. So you never know. Maybe we might scrape a draw or scumbag or win. It could be possible. The guys could turn up. Whoever is available could have a good game. These things happen sometimes. I know the season is tough and we lost a lot of games poorly to a lot of teams that you would consider bottom feeders. But performances at the end of the day, you could only beat who in front of you.
There's a question. Are you afraid of tossing salad? No, I'm not afraid of Trossard. Saka, the ones to look after is Saka, Rice, and freaking Ødegaard, right? Ødegaard is the playmaker. Ødegaard is making it happen. It's a bloody number. He was nominated for the Player of the Year, and I think he should get it like the best number 8 so far. So Ødegaard for me is the danger man. You stop Ødegaard, but then you have to look after Declan Rice, and Saka will be a dangerous prospect. The left-hand side is not looking so sharp. Martinelli is not so good. He's had been a dodgy season. Trossard has been okay. But yeah, definitely we need to flood our midfield and stop them there like a mid-block. Otherwise, they will just chew us alive there.
Yeah, we just need to
Saka
do what
is
we
in
did.
doubt, apparently.
Possibly. Yeah, I heard about that. He might be going through the same fitness test like what Johnny Evans failed, and to see if he's ready for the game.
Right.
I think we should play similar to how we played against them at the Emirates, because I think how we played, we were winning the game up until the goal was disallowed and the guys dropped their heads. So if we could play that similar way, we was able to contain them at the Emirates for the most part.
Yeah, but if we win against Arsenal, I would just celebrate. I don't care. I really don't care. At the moment, who wins the league, because it's just choosing between cancer or what else, cholera, whatever. You know what I mean? So it don't really matter. The joy in my eyes is Liverpool ain't winning jack shit, just a Carabao Cup, and that's it, right? That's the end of Jurgen Klopp and the Klopp area, because next season they're going to start building up their own team with this Arne slot machine.
I mean, it's just one of those things, like this season, it was tough, but it's a rebuild. A lot of fans had to remember that it's a rebuild, and we implement a new system. There's always going to be a time where we will be up and down. We will have bad performances. Yeah. It's just
Darko, will I be happy if we play defensive or offensive on Sunday? I would say a mix, to be honest. You got to be pragmatic against them, because you know how they're going to play. They're going to go at you the first 20 minutes. So if you survive the first 20 minutes, you're good, because they're going to get impatient. If you don't concede the first half, we can sway this game, because they will drop their heads. They need to win. And I don't know. It's not up to me, but if I would set up, I would definitely set up a little bit more pragmatic and start hitting them on the break, with pace. The first half, at least. What would you do?
I play the same way we play against Arsenal at the Emirates. I think that was the way we had to play them. It was the way that worked out.
Or Liverpool. Or at Liverpool semi-final.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same way we was playing against Arsenal. I think that was just an adapted version to Liverpool team. So it's one of those things.
Yeah. Big up Voganator as well. This is coming in. Jack Reacher. What you saying here, Jack? We're going to finish off the stream. I watch Man United only. BSC. What does BSC stand? Man United doesn't cheat. Yeah, listen. I want United to beat City. Man United is a proper club. City ain't a proper club, if you know what I mean. As implemented by some Real Madrid fans as well. So, you know what? Let it be. I think it's a proper Champions League final. You see two proper clubs going at each other. And that's my opinion alone. So I wouldn't like to see a whole German Champions League final anyway. So, but here is a derby, like, you know, and we are playing a derby at Wembley, cup final. We will not do like we did within 5 minutes where the bloody Rodri scores. Like, no, right? So I believe we can stop City.
Rodri didn't score. It was
Gundogan, yeah. 100%. Any more further questions? We have 33 likes. Please get those likes up. But in retrospective, subscribe if you haven't. It's been 1 hour and 6 minutes. We covered the Airtime Hags press conference. We'll be back hopefully a little bit later on for a Friday Chills show as well. And will be me, myself, Jarvis, and Stu William. Perhaps Mark will join us as well as a Friday Chill special. A little bit different type of vibe, more chilling, you know, whatever you're drinking and eating, and just have a good roundup of the week and look forward for Sunday as well. Big up to everyone. Anita Handjob, I can see you. I love that name, Handjob. Jamie Wayne, Jack Reacher, Mental Ball Game, Legends, the Voganator as well. Alex as well is here. Alex Mogisha, we're talking about. Ivo Bosic as well. And who else do we have here? Did I forget anyone? Stephanie Griffith, of course, our loyal moderator as well. Without even forgetting to mention, you know who you are, beautiful people. Dark Crow as well, with your great questions and Mental Ball Game. And the half time with Vegeta Sama will here to watch our first stream as well. Big up, boys, as well to you. And Luman is here. And guys, that's about it. Time to close this shop. And Lord Voldemort, thank you all the way from Hogwarts as well. It's been Mick Ruby here with Mark Nurse, M&M's in the house. And Mark, you are happy to join later on, but also we have happy hour, almost season finale later on with Football Power Hour. Anyway, have a nice rest of your afternoon. We should see you to the next time. Glory, glory, Manchester United. And remember, Glazers out at all cost. Bye for now.
Always.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.